Well, welcome back everyone to Chopper Sciences. Today we're gonna put the Ultima ignition system into the Sportster. Hope you like my new getup, and we'll get right into it. So this is the stuff that comes with the new kit. Alright, well, the first step into replacing an old part is to take it out. So this is what we're gonna do. So we don't really need this anymore, but we're gonna cut it up kind of high, just in case, so we might be able to use it after. But that's gonna make it a lot easier to pull this guy out of its place. So you want to take your cover off. Ooh. So this one is an old style. So that's this is the stock version. But these two screws right here will come out, and then this guy should just yank right out. Alright, so that guy comes right out there just like that. Maybe with a bit of motivation, it'll pull the hell out. There, alright. So that's the old one. You want to hold on to this stuff. You never know. You could always put it into a pile, sell that shit on eBay. You know, you never know. Somebody might buy that crap up, but we'll hold on to it for now. So back to here, we can also see that there's this cup in here. The kit that we got comes with a new cup, so obviously we're going to replace that because we're going to have a new one. So what we'll do, some light in here, but yeah, okay. So next we got to get a socket to get that thing off. We got the right size. Ooh. Okay, we got it. Just like that. Should come out of place. Yeah. Alright. Okay. So, if you notice, this piece has a little notch in it, right here. This, the new wheel that comes with it, or the new cup we'll call it, it has a notch inside of it that just kind of lines up with that, so you know it's in the right spot. But so she goes in there just like that. We'll reach over to our new pile here. We'll get all the new hardware. Just reinstall. It's actually a pretty straightforward build, this one, or maybe not call it a build, but upgrade of the ignition system. But if you've never done it before, I do have a video that tells you exactly how to do this, you know, how to wire a Sportster in Chopper Science. But, so we're going to want to tighten that down a little bit, get it nice and snug. We don't want to over tighten it too much. It's a nice fine thread, so, you know, snug is snug for that. That'll be alright. You know what, maybe we'll just go just a wee bit more, just to be careful. There we go. Okay, so with that, the next step is what you want to do is grab your the actual ignition module, unravel it, and feed your wires back through that hole, and then they'll come out of the body somewhere down in here, and then you can just get them out of the way. Alright, so I got my wires through it, and I'm just putting the bolts in that hold it in place. I'm putting them in just loose, because we're gonna have to do some adjusting to this once we get it all hooked up and wired up to set the timing on it. But next step, we gotta plug our wires into where they're supposed to go. I got my voltage regulator, I got my circuit breaker, my battery, my coil, my spark plug wires, and a couple other extra wires that'll do us some justice when wiring this bad boy together. So I'm gonna just take some time. I'll do that myself. Oh, I lied. The next step, after putting all your wires in through there, we're gonna have to do a thing we're called static timing. So we're gonna have to align the cylinder to top dead center, which happens from a plug on the other side. I'll spin the motor around and we'll get a video of me removing that, and then I'll show you what it looks like and what to look for on this engine. Alright, so that little bolt right there, that's your ignition timing plug. It's a 3/8 Allen key. You want to just pull that bad boy out, and then we're gonna spin the motor around so we could align it up, so we can see this. There's a little dot on the crankcase, and when you spin it around enough, that lets you know that your cylinder is at the right spot, and like that's the mark for the front cylinder advance timing mark, obviously. Yada yada. Okay, so. So, as we can see, there's nothing in there. So what we got to do is we got to actually spin the motor over. So what I've done is I put it into 4th gear, and I've removed the spark plugs. That's going to reduce the compression, and it's going to help us spin this over with ease. So if I trade your spots here, you could have an eye on that. I'm going to just try to spin this bad boy over. Okay, can you see the hole?
Yeah.
I think that's it. Could be. Nope. There's a little dot there. See that little dot? Alright. Oh, that's it. Alright, so that bad boy means that front cylinder is top dead center. Alright, so for what we're doing, we're using the pink, the white, and the blue wire. They're eventually going to end up on our coil. But after you get these little fittings put on there, crimped on there, you're going to want to use some shrink wrap to just hide that and prolong the life of your cables and your wires. So we'll do that, and then we'll stick them on our cable, and then we'll go to the next step. I'm sure somebody out there is going to say that I could have done a better job, but whatever. If you want to go the extra step, you could always solder the connection as well. But for now, this is going to be good enough. We want to get this chopper on the road. We want to ride. But, so, that's that. That's your wires finished and ready to install. Okay, so after a bit of fucking around and some wiring up, if you followed my video on how to wire a Sportster with an ultima ignition, you'll end up somewhere here. So what we're doing, we're just going to get her going on the bench just for research purposes. So again, if you followed all the steps in the wiring video, you'll pretty much end up here. But if you focus here on the module, you'll see that there's a red light. So when everything is all wired up properly and you flip your switch, that red light should blink and should stay on if everything is okay and if it is close to the firing point. So if it does stay on, you know you're close, and then with small adjustment it shuts off, and then that's when you know where you want to lock her down. Just as it shuts off is where that sweet spot is. So if it goes and it starts blinking like crazy, then there's something else wrong. You might have a short or something there. It says it all in the instructions that come with the kit. Everything's okay. Everything's labeled out pretty clearly there. It's pretty straightforward. But anyway, moment of truth. See what we got. So boom, it did that little blink and it stayed on. So that tells me we're good and we're close to the firing point. So again, like I said, small little adjustment. Usually there's a spot up here or in here that helps you adjust it with a screwdriver, but for now we're just going to do it by hand. I know this might look silly just the way the wires are all set up here, but the way it is, the actual reaction point where it is now, I had to flip it over just to get it like that. So whatever, your bike might be different. I don't give a shit. It's going to get covered up by a cover anyway, but you just, like I said, you just want to give her a small little adjustments to try to get that light to shut off. Oh, so that's it there. I got a little bit too far, so we're going to bring it back. Bring it back. So boom, that's where it's turning on. We want to go just to where it turns off. Just so slightly. Just like that. Get your little screwdriver and it doesn't hurt. So I'm going to like that right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to snug that into place. And if everything's good and my theory's correct, you ground these off to the frame or something and there should be some sparks. And then after that, next step is starting it up and then getting her in the frame. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is see if we get a spark. Because we know the wiring's all set up because the red light was done. We did our timing, everything's good. So this should just spark out of both ends here. And just like that, alright, well, we know this bike will start. To conclude our video here, we definitely got some spark, so that's a good sign. If you have any questions along the way, you could comment, I could get back to you, or you could just take a look at my first video on how to wire a Sportster. But yeah, thanks for watching. Ooh.